Lots of new investors and property buyers get confused as to what is the difference between a bond cover and life cover. Do you need both of them or you need just one? Hello and welcome. My name is Lonabo Fololo. I'm the CEO and founder of the Wealth Academy. Today we are tackling this topic of the difference between life cover and the bond cover. So let's go right into it. So you will notice that when you apply for a bond to purchase a property, more often than not, the financial institution or the bond originator, they will often want you to take what is called a bond cover. Now, a bond cover is simply a policy that you take for the duration of that particular bond. So what the bond cover does, in the event of you passing, let's say you've paid for your bond is 20 years, and you've paid for 10 years, and you happen to pass on year number 10. What then happens to the bond, right? In ordinary cases, your estate will have to pay for the remainder of the particular bond because a dead person cannot be able to hold credit, right? They cannot even own property. So that is why that bond will have to be cancelled, and the financial institution will want their money, or you'll have to settle the bond, right? Or someone will have to apply to take over that particular bond. So the bond cover then helps in this particular situation, whereby if you pass on, the bond cover will pay the remainder of the bond and make sure that the property is passed on to your next of kin, to your heirs, with the bond being settled. Now, whilst this is all good and well, most astute property investors don't necessarily follow this trend. Imagine if you buy 5 properties. That will mean that you will need to have 5 different bond covers, 5 different bond installments. Over and above your bond installment, your levies and your rates, you'll have to pay this particular cover. Now, what astute property investors do is they apply for a much larger life cover, let's say to the value of 20 million rand, knowing that their exposure, meaning the money that they still owe to the bank on their entire property portfolio, maybe let's say it's about 10 million. They know that in the event of them passing, what they do is they structure their bond, their life cover in such a way that if they pass on, the money does not necessarily pay into their estate, but it actually pays on to their trust, property trust, and family trust. Let's say, for example, this particular investor has, debt in the property trust of 10 million, and they have a life cover of 20 million. So instead of that life cover paying the entire 20 million into the estate, they write it in the plan, in the life cover in such a way that 10 million will go to the property trust and takes care of all the debt, and the other 10 million will then go into the property trust. Now we'll go into more detail in the next video as to why they do that, in terms of how they use their life cover to make sure that they create even more wealth. The interesting thing, you'll find that we insure our cars not knowing if we'll ever get an accident or not, but we hardly insure our lives, but we all know that all of us one day we're going to die, right? Astute property investors use this as an opportunity to make sure that they're able to pass on wealth to the next generation with their life cover. So any other property that they buy, that requires a bond cover, they just cede their life cover to that particular financial institution. They do this repeatedly to make sure that they don't have to pay multiple installments, but they just simply pay one premium for that particular life cover, which also covers all other debt exposures that they might have. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the astute property investors that you and I are aspiring to be use life cover instead of the bond cover. For more on this, click on the link below. Make sure that you become part of the Wealth Academy, where you can learn even more tools and systems that you can use to build wealth through property. See you on the inside. Cheers.